Welcome to Phazon Labs, powered by the World 1-1 Podcast Network, where you can and should press start to engage your mind. Phazon Labs is our exclusive Metroid pitch fan show, and this week we are deviating from our usual formula of bringing you our idea for the next Metroid game, and we are doing a full breakdown spoilercast of the brand new Metroid Dread, because we've all waited so goddamn long. And it's finally here, and it's time to talk about it and lay the groundwork for where the future may take us right here on Phazon Labs, because that's what we're talking about every goddamn week. So, joining me this week is Michael Morphball Accident Brown.
Hi.
Kathleen K1000 Jansen.
What's up?
And Eddie Chocolate Thunder Varnell.
I would not David Jaffe this podcast. Hello, everybody.
God, I'm realizing we're probably going to end up having to talk about that too.
Oh, trust me. I'm writing a editorial about it, and it's the most ironic thing. It's funny.
When you're done, send it over. I can stick it on the RSS feed.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. But yeah, if we ever talk about it, we'll get to it, and I'll explain why it's the most ironic thing for a person like him to say the stuff about this game.
All right. So before we go any further, this is a spoiler cast. Nothing is off limits as far as Dread is concerned. So if you haven't finished it, this is your warning to jump out now and come back once you have. Otherwise, if you don't care or you've already finished it, strap in, bitches. We're doing this. So let's start out some first thoughts. You know what, Michael? First thoughts on Dread.
At first, when I first started playing it and the Emmy encounters, I have massive anxiety problems. So as I'm playing it, I'm getting pissed because this is basically anxiety the game. Like as I said, I'm just getting furious because it's a lot of trial and error. To try to figure out what path you got to take to avoid them, and just get through the area till you get the thing that allows you to find the thing to kill it. As I said, outside of that, it's standard Metroid. It's the exploration with action and shit. The melee counter didn't bother me this time. It was much smoother than it was in Samus Returns.
Felt a lot less stop and go.
Yeah. That fucking ending. Oh my god, that ending.
First for figures, where you at?
Yeah, that fucking ending. I don't quite get part of it, but I'm assuming we'll get into that later. But,
I'm pretty sure I can answer that question.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can too. My only caveat with the entire game is during that ending scene where she's basically eating Ravenbeak, I wish rather than suddenly she's just in the Metroid suit, I wish it would have been a physical mutation happening while she was eating him.
Oh, yeah.
That's my only gripe.
And I would say, if anything, that's a fairly minor one.
Yes, as I said, that plus one of my favorite aspects of the whole thing, she says one fucking sentence the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
One, and it's not even in English.
No, it's Chizodian, and that makes it so much better to hear her speak the language she grew up with.
Yeah, it was.
Which, by the way, that means officially Samus is bilingual.
Yep.
Bare minimum.
I was very, very impressed with it.
Mm-hmm. Kathy.
Yes.
First impressions, first feels.
I really liked it, and I usually have a lot of trouble with Metroid games, so for me, this game it was just challenging enough where I didn't get frustrated and I didn't have to use a walkthrough or a player's guide or have to look online for things. I only did that once, and that was when you first get into Kataras, however you say it.
Yeah.
I got stuck. I was like looking everywhere where to go next, and I'm like, don't have the morph ball, so I can't go back the way I was. I'm hitting these heat rooms. What am I missing? And then I looked online, and I'm like, fudge, hit the walls, shoot the walls. Why did I not shoot the walls? And after that, once I remembered that, it was fine. And I got used to the exploration, and in fact, I think I used the knowledge that I'd never had used in other games before, because I got so frustrated with Super Metroid when it first came out because I had no clue what I was doing. So now that I've had some experience, and I think even you like you put it best, Larry, if you can't go any further, you miss something. Mm-hmm. So that was what I kept in mind. Okay, I'm stuck. What am I missing? I'm missing something I can break, I'm missing a power-up. And I liked how the map kind of also helped you find those power-ups, because that was another helpful thing, because like I started going further ahead, and then I looked on the map and I'm like, wait, there's a Chozo statue I missed, there's a power-up, I need to go back and get it. And I forget what item it was, but I went back, got it, and was able to move. It had a little easier time moving forward, but it was fun. It's been a while since I played a game that was fun, and I just enjoyed it the entire time. The only thing I didn't like was getting the power bombs so late. Like, I love those. And I felt like by the time you got them, you really had no use for them. So, I mean, they did get used, and we'll talk about that, but I felt like they could have been a little bit earlier in the story, or in the game. But it was a fun game. I went back, so when I completed it, I didn't 100% it. So I spent the couple of, I think it was Monday night, I just went through and I 100%ed it. And even, I'm proud of myself, I did those Shine Spark puzzles. Now those I did also use the walkthrough for, but at that point though, I figured I already beat the game, so I already know what's going on. So I'll use the walkthrough to help, and because there were some that were just like, what are you supposed to do? But I was proud of myself, I actually did them. I mean, it took me about 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe 60 tries, but I did them. And so I 100%ed the game. And that was fun to go back and explore and, go back to the rooms and try to find my way through and find new ways to get through things and stuff. So definitely a great game.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was feeling let down by the usage on the power bombs by the time it was all said and done. I love the power bombs. I for many years I've teased and called them pocket nukes, because that's really what they are. But there's so much fun to play with, but this game really just gave you nothing to do with them.
I think I had most of the power bomb upgrades before I had the power bombs. I think I found majority of them. I think I was only missing about 3 or 4 by the time I got them, and it was like, I hate picking up something. You knew what you were picking up. You just had to wait so long to use them.
Definitely. So, Eddie, knee-jerk thoughts.
Okay, so I think this is definitely Game of the Year. I think this is top quality, perfect 10. And I think it takes the Metroid series to another level. To me, it outranks Super Metroid, because this game has, to me, pretty much perfect controls, great design, and at times it felt like a Mega Man X game done right. Because some of the powers up with the air dashing, the wall jumping is so good in here. It's like there's so much polish in this game that this really shows. It shows I always say this, when companies work with Nintendo, they come out as better developers.
They tend to, definitely.
The way that Platinum has came out, the way that Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo has come out. Bandai Namco. It's a lot of developers in Mercury Steam who is more of a Western kind of like I don't know, Hispanic, because they're from Mexico, I think, or they have a place in Mexico. They're kind of like only like some of the Western developers that that's not owned by Nintendo, that has put out, 2 games with Nintendo that has been all literally perfect almost. Whether you think it's Samus Return is not perfect or not, they have put on hit titles and let them be able to design the way that they want to design and bring ideas. And just seeing this in Metroid Dread, like, is one of the best analog games that has been out for Nintendo. That I have thoroughly enjoyed. Like, I didn't expect this game to be this polished. Yes, the shrine puzzles are like they take a while to do, but that's more of a timing thing. I'm like, once you get it down and you get that popper, you feel super accomplished. I know the game is challenging, but I'm just like, you can't be frustrated at the challenge if you're a person who enjoys the Souls games. This game is so good, and the story, I know we're gonna get into the story. This is one of the most fleshed out stories that's came out from the Metroid series, where Prime is that there is a story there, but you go out and find it. The other ones, besides pretty much only Fusion, I think, is the only one that tell you what's really going on in story. Super Metroid, you really don't have a story, but it's the music and the environments that you are going to that tells it. So you are able to create it. But this one, yeah, of course, hearing Samus talk Chozo and everything, it was more of a surprise than it was expected. And I think that's what I love about the game, all the surprises that this game contains. Because, man, that Kraid fight, the cutscene to that mug may be one of the most entertaining, probably I would say maybe my number one cutscene of 2021. And just the way that some of the fights on how it ends, and just showing how Samus reacts, and how she is a bounty hunter and what she must do on her journey. But yeah, just seeing Samus' small little self and Kraid just looking at him while chained up, just the shots in there, I'm like, wow, just wow. Nintendo let Mercury Steam be cinematic with this, and that's it. It really shows that, yeah, they're going places with this story. So that is my thoughts on it. So, and yeah, I didn't have no problem with the challenge. I love that it was hard to make the game a little bit longer. I love the exploration. Even if I felt like I got lost, it was just like, you know what, I gotta go here. So let me look at my map, make my choices. It at times it felt very Breath of the Wildish, because it doesn't give you no direction at all in the whole game. I mean,
but unlike Breath of the Wild, it will tell you, yeah, you can't go here yet.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and that's only when Adam says that you're not ready for this yet, so you can't go there. But other than that, you literally could go to most places to survive. That doesn't drain your energy. Other than that, yeah, it's just like, and the last thing before I hand it back over to you, it's cool that Nintendo and Mercury Steam have the speedrunners in mind, and they place different tricks in the game. I've never seen a game where that says, we know you guys want to break this, so we're going to put it in where it's up to you on how you want to break it.
I will say, from what I've seen, the sequence breaks are counterproductive to speedrunning.
Well, in a sense, yeah, because there's been...
No, I'm saying I've been watching Oats and Goats and like Shiny Zenny and a couple of others that have just been breaking this thing down. Like, as of recording, the last I saw, I think they had it down to like an hour 26.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's getting, for any percent, it's getting ridiculous. But
Dang.
stuff like the Kraid quick kill, you won't see any of them do, because it takes longer to sequence break, go get the grapple beam and the bombs and come back to Kraid than it does to just hit Kraid and keep fucking going.
Yeah, but it's surprising that for people who progress further in the game, that is there in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I
love that it's there.
Right, and after, I think it's that one feeling to be like, wait, what the heck is this? It's such a shock and a surprise, and that's cool that they placed it in there. To be like, oh, there's another way to be, and that in that game, and that section has a cutscene for that. That's cool.
It does, and it was awesome. Speaking to the Kraid fight I saw earlier today, people have started taking like footage from Dread and slapping Doom music on top of it, and it's awesome. Like the opening scene to the Kraid fight with the right Doom music was awesome. I'm like, yeah.
Okay, so my guilty thing about this, because I didn't know that Craig was going to be in the game, because I stopped watching I watched none of the trailers to Metroid Dread after E3. I literally said I'm not watching anything until the game comes out, because I didn't want to be spoiled. That's how highly anticipated I was for this game. Now, I will admit, I caught Larry with the quickness, and we literally could have had 4 podcasts on the phone alone about theories about Dread.
Mm-hmm.
And surprisingly, his theories that he told me, part of them came true. And
I'd like to think I was pretty on point for quite a bit there.
So, but yeah, that's my thoughts about Dread. And I don't know if we'll get to ranking the series or anything, but I
probably
know where
not this time.
Oh, well, I would say this, that Metroid Prime is number 1. Dread has become number 2.
Woo. So the first impressions for me. My immediate thought when it started was, wait, so we're not going to talk about anything that happened after Fusion and skip to right now, because there's got to be something in the middle there. That bugged me. But that said, right from the jump, this game is just like, go. To something that you said, Michael, I saw a while ago, when we were still just staring at trailers, somebody was looking at one of them and posted a comment and said, how much momentum and speed should we give Samus in this game? And the response back said, Mercury Steam, just says yes. And that's kind of what it felt like. It was all about just not breaking momentum. Everything from carrying it through with the new slide counter, the slide itself, maintaining your speed boost through fucking wall jumps and slides and shit. And God, Eddie, you and I think talked about this, but Jesus Christ, how the fuck was the morph ball that late in the game?
Yes,
so weird.
Oh my gosh.
They started making memes about it.
And for some reason, I loved it. And I guess it really kind of shows that when you break Metroid and you break the tradition of it, you feel weird about it because you don't know how to react to it.
The thing is, I kept forgetting about the slide once I got the morph ball, and that was I think the only bad part about it was that I used that slide like crazy until I got it, and then I forgot it got lost because, oh, hey, morph ball, I've got it again. And I kept having issues with some of the bosses, like, what do I, and then it's like, oh yeah, I can slide. Once I got used to it, I started learning how to use the slide and the morph ball together, and then that really worked nicely. I'm that's the only, that was kind of a weird, I don't know, it's just, I mean, all these years I wanted to be able to just slide, have Samus slide.
Yeah, it's this because Samus is so agile in this game. You know, the slide. That's why I said it feels like a Mega Man game, not the slide by Nintendo. I mean, by Capcom, because the sliding, I was using it so much, and just going into movement and fighting bosses, and like quickest way to dodge and everything. It was just like this all works well, and it feels good. To the point,
once you remembered to use it, like I said, I forgot all about it. So, you know, but once, you put all that together, it was like, this makes sense. This really feels like a powerful Samus.
Yeah,
this feels like her. This feels like what she's always been.
It's funny. It kind of feels like this is the Bayonetta in 2D that I want in a sense, but yet it's not. But everything, like once again, everything works. I'm sorry, Michael. Do you have anything to say? I'm sorry.
No, I'm fine. I just want to say, when I finally did get the morph ball, I'm embarrassed to say I'm by myself at home, and the moment I got the morph ball, I go, "Fucking ain't right, morph ball."
You think when she's in the morph ball, she's just mentally in the fetal position?
I was actually wondering that earlier when I was playing. I was like, how the fuck does that work?
Oh my god. So have you ever seen the Dorkly bits?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one that kind of where they get the morph ball.
If you look very carefully at Metroid Prime 1, you can actually see what happens inside the morph ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a gap between the two halves. If you shift it around right, you can see with the camera. You can see it's like a non-corporeal energy inside instead.
Okay.
So she becomes non-corporeal energy sentient inside the shell.
Okay, I can live with that.
So there you go. There's a canonical explanation for you.
Can I, before we go on, can I respond to the power bomb?
No.
I never felt like the power bombs have any usage in any of the Metroid games. I always felt like they were used to explore the rooms and progress.
It's just a quick way to get rid of everything.
Quick way to get rid of everything, to get energy. Quick way to find secrets and stuff. I never felt, because it never does anything for a boss. Power bombs has never been used for any boss when you got them in Metroid. It has always
Metroid
been
Prime 2.
Yes, Metroid Prime 2.
Was that which boss was that? Because there was a boss that you had to fight while you was in the morph ball or in the spider ball.
There's a couple actually, but the one that you get the power bombs from actually was great usage of the power bomb against Samus. That was actually pretty fucking cool. But then the god damn it, Quadraxis, the power bombs were useful, and actually the Omega Pirate from Metroid Prime 1, the power bombs were solidly useful.
Was that like at moments, like if you get an opening you could just use it, or is it just like
you could use it on the Omega Pirate to stun it, give you some breakaway time. Oh god damn it, my mind went blank. Quadraxis, it would also help stun him when you were having issues.
So it had so I'm assuming it had like more for a Legend of Zelda kind of sense, where your special item that you get for that dungeon is to help fight the boss, but then you go back to swinging your sword to do the main attack.
Well, yes, but I also found that the power bombs in the Prime games, I use them a lot more, like to attack, to clear, to actually attack, not clear rooms. Whereas I think like in Super Metroid and like the 2D versions, you use them just to try to find those hidden passages.
Yeah.
They did wonders for getting swarms of Metroids off your back in Prime and Prime 2 as well.
Yeah, there was. I felt they were more usable.
Yeah.
Does the getting your power back from a power bomb work in this one?
No, not that I've seen. No Crystal Flash. I think Super's the only one that had it.
Yeah.
I thought
Because
it was
Fusion
in one
or
of the
Zero
ebooks.
Mission didn't. Uh-uh.
I
Huh.
will say I liked how you could set off the bomb. You know, you had that in between where
Oh,
you
the
could charge
cross bomb?
up the cross bomb. I couldn't think of what it was
Yeah,
called.
those
That
are
was
great.
very
Yes.
cool, and I used that a lot.
I want those to come back.
I hated that mechanic actually.
Really?
Yeah, because like I hated having to use it for puzzles because you had to time it just right to keep bouncing along it.
Mm. Well, at that
Like, I
point,
had
it's
a little bit of
essentially
difficulty
just
with it. What's
it's
that?
just morph ball jumping or bomb
Yeah.
jumping. But no, I really liked the cross bomb, honestly. Like being able to clear more, like rows of blocks without having to stop every damn time. And then
set a
I actually,
bomb. Ugh.
yeah, and I liked the little side boost thing that it did too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was fucking clever. It felt like kind of a step down from the whole combo your Spider Ball and Power Bomb in Samus Returns, but it was still fun.
I do like when you get this speed booster and you stop and you're still powered up for a while. Sometimes you can go to a different some spots and be the power bomb, press B and then shoot. Like I thought that was so cool to do
Now,
that. I was just like,
I
nice.
did have a question. The mechanic where you could get into Morph Ball and use it, was that in any other game?
The speed boost?
When you the Shine Spark actually.
Yeah.
Okay, because I couldn't
it
remember
was
if
in
that
Zero Mission. I
Was it
remember
in-
that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started.
that had
it
some
started-
speedball stuff.
Because
Yeah,
I
it
never
started-
played Zero Mission, so my limit to the 2D games was Super Metroid, and then the one you gave me, Larry.
Yep, AM2R.
Yeah, so those were the only 2D ones I played. I played all the Prime ones, but
Yeah. So when
so
they
yeah,
when
I
they
missed out.
Oh, sorry. When they introduced the speed booster in Super Metroid, you could only you could get down, but you weren't able to shoot out in the morph ball. You could only
Right.
go left, right, or go up with it. So it was like very limited. So
I didn't know
yeah.
you could left or right. Oops.
Yep.
Today I
Um,
learned something new. Dang,
So.
I'm gonna have to go back and play Super Metroid now.
The other couple initial thoughts, and then we'll kind of start breaking it down a little more minutia. One, I loved the evolution of one of my favorite abilities. The spider magnet was great. God. So it felt quick and snappy, and this is one of those couple of things that Eddie, you and I were talking about that you could tell that Mercury Steam really wanted to do that Fusion remake that they haven't gotten to do, because the spider magnet, when you're using it, feels like the wall climb and the ceiling ladder from Fusion.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then there was a couple of others, story beats and things that had that Fusion callback, like the experiment choking off the magma core. There again, a Fusion callback, and then seeing the X cores, which canonically, it's story-wise makes sense for them to be there with what they did, but also just seeing them again, I'm like, they really wanted to make Fusion. So
I can't say because I know we're gonna get to the X Parasite. I know we need to get to it, but I really love that part where you get to where you kind of release all the X Parasites and the game switches, because it's just like that okay, you was tempted to the X Parasite, but you weren't thinking because you were just constantly getting regular energy. So they fused the energy from Super Metroid because it had that purple look with Metroid Fusion, and I'm like, oh wow, they really looked at each game in the series outside of Prime. They looked at each of the regular series, even the other M, and put everything together to make this game. I found that fascinating.
I will say too, in terms of feel, as much as it gets dogged, though apparently on Twitter it's trending big. Other M is getting a lot of talk in the last couple of days as of recording. But this game very much fused the feel of Fusion and Other M for me. in a lot of the areas and environments, and just that blend of the industrial complex and nature kind of forced in. So
which is funny that you mentioned Other M, because people have been buying Other M. They have been on eBay. They have been going to GameStop, Garage. They literally have been buying Other M to play that game, and everybody's just like, "This is not bad as I thought it was." And it was just like, of course, it's not bad as what it was. I'm like, everybody thought because it had this voice acting, everybody focused on the voice acting. Yeah, it has some story problems, but I'm just like, until you played a Team Ninja game like Ninja Gaiden 2 and dealt with all of that craziness and then see the polish of Other M, you would not understand. But because of Metroid Dread, everybody has been getting into the series and finding out, why did I miss this series?
I love how apparently it took Metroid Dread for people to start changing opinions on Other M.
Yes.
So, but beyond that, the ending floored me. When you finish the Phase 3 Ravenbeak fight and the suit change happened, I screamed. I'm like, I fucking called it for years. Michael and Eddie will attest. I've been screaming about this concept for like a decade. So,
I hated that suit though.
Oh, I loved it.
I thought it was ugly. I hated it.
It's supposed to be ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Story-wise it worked, but I still prefer the gravity suit prior to all that. That was my favorite.
It looked.
But like, I'm just very disappointed. There's no ending bonuses. Like, let me play in that green suit, even if it's just you don't even need to give me that super murder beam.
Right, just
the standard beams you play through the game, just a skin. That's all I want.
No, I'll tell you what I want, and I'll tell you what you want too. We want a new game plus mode where we can speed run through and try and figure out how fast we can get through with the Metroid suit and the murder beam.
Yeah.
You know what? I have a feeling that's going to come.
God, that'd be great DLC.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it'd be good DLC. I would just like it to be patched so it can be added on. This is a game designed without having DLC. I don't need DLC for this game.
No.
They did just push out the first patch for the game, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to fix the crashes.
Yeah.
People were having crashes? I never had any
It
issues.
was super specific.
Okay.
It was like a very specific set of circumstances you had to hit, but it was at least quantifiable. They managed to nail it down and go, it's this exact thing, and then they can go in and fix it.
Okay. Because I never had any issues with the game at all.
Same
here.
I
didn't either. And I know you two both love the gravity suit. That gravity suit has huge Black Lightning vibes.
Yes. Yes.
The orange zag all the way down the torso. I'm like, get your Jefferson Pierce on, motherfuckers.
Yes.
So
I just liked how, different lighting, how there would be the green accent.
Yeah.
When she came out, I was like, ooh, that's nice.
The lighting work was so good.
Can I tell you that as much as I love the lighting, I love the water effects when you're getting into the train and leaving.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The backdrops.
The detail in this game is bonkers.
I'll tell you though, and you know what? We'll use that to segue. Let's get into some nitpicks. What you didn't quite love, and I'm gonna start on the back of your comment here, Eddie, because those set pieces like waves crashing into the mountainside shit was cool as hell. Why the fuck did all the lava look like orange jello? There's no texture, there's no nothing to it. It's just like gelato. I'm like, man, this doesn't look any different than it did on Samus Returns on my 3DS.
The whole planet is powered by jello shots.
Oh god. Like I said, I'm working another playthrough and it keeps jumping out at me. I'm like, everything is so gorgeous. What the fuck happened here? It's like, is that where the budget stopped?
No, I don't think the budget stopped there. I think it's because you're moving so much and going to room that you don't even focus on that. You're focused on
did.
Samus and the enemy.
Oh.
I when it came,
It looks like different colored water. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it was. They
And not
didn't
even
make
that,
it-
the water was done better.
Yeah, the water was done better, but that's really all it was different
There
colored
was
water.
better lava in Super Metroid. It had like fucking bubbles and shit, and
Mhm.
it looked hot. This just looked like orange water or orange jello.
I wasn't bothered by it. I was so engaged and and captured by the game. Like, I didn't mind it. I wasn't gonna be there. I was gonna get my power up or go to the next room, and bam, that was it.
So the only reason that stuck out so much for me is because everything else surrounding it was so gorgeously rendered,
Yes.
detailed, and articulated that you hit that and it's just instant play, and it looks so out of place.
Mhm.
But
I almost should have done it as a water texture, just orange,
yeah,
with,
would have been
with like
better.
a heat waiver.
Yeah.
But I think it's partly because of the art style, this 3D, 2D, HD kind of look, or whatever you want to call it. I think it was, if it was like hand draw 2D, not 2D sprites. If it was like hand draw to almost something like Hades, in a sense, I think the lava would have been more detailed. Because if you look at the lava in Hades, it's very detailed, and I think Mercury Steam would have did that. I think because it's just the art style that they chose. Like, how do you make lava look like detail in that?
But for what it is, though, it's a fairly minor nitpick, all things considered. Other than that, I'm with Cassie. The power bombs just felt way too late and underutilized. And I'm with Michael. God, I would have loved to actually, have that suit as something to really play around with and do something with, and kind of get to really flex it. But those are really my nitpicks. I'll toss to you, Eddie. Go. What you got?
So I have no nitpicks for the whole game. Perfect. I think if I had to nitpick, is that this game doesn't have a cinema mode to watch all the cutscenes again. Because I just want to watch them and just marvel at the work that they put in. That's it. Everything else, flawless to me. Literally,
yeah, if they had like a theater or movie mode like Other M did.
Yeah.
Because Other M did that brilliantly too, because it wasn't just the cutscenes, but you actually got like bits of in between, and to watch the actual fight and not just the cutscenes, so the whole thing made fucking sense.
Yeah, that's it. I don't care about anything else. Like, everything else is perfect. So, Michael.
My other than, like I said, the minor thing that there's no, congratulations, here, enjoy the game in a slightly different way, is my other complaint would be that none of the areas were connected in any way other than the trains or the elevators.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
that felt slightly off to me, like, especially for a Metroid game. Because I mean, like,
I was gonna toss in for a second. I had the same thought, and on top of that, my thought went further. There is no reason, the way these are hooked together, that these couldn't have been corridors and shafts and stuff that you can physically run through
yes,
and cut it and use that to mask the area loading, like they did with the doors in the Prime games, because those loading times were a touch egregious.
yeah. Actually,
But no,
yeah,
I'm with you.
I also wish there had been a slightly more variety in the loading screens of when Samus is just sitting there. Like, it would have been really cool to see one where she's literally just like sitting on the floor, leaning up against a wall. Just, you can tell she's just tired.
Yeah.
Just shit like that. Like, more that add a slightly bit more character to it.
No, that would have been great, honestly. I'm with you. I hadn't even thought about it. All I thought was, the loading screens the load times were a little too much, and maybe we'll see a patch that optimizes that. I'm sure the speedrun community will be grateful. But yeah, no, they just, it felt like just kind of staring at a loading screen instead of seeing, in between shit.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
Kathy, what you got?
Well, I think really just the power bombs was my biggest thing about the game. And again, you guys already mentioned it. Loading times between some of the areas, they seemed a little long than they needed to be. But really, those are minor things. Like I said, I really enjoyed the game. I had fun with it, so I really can't think of anything I didn't like.
All right. So, quick rapid fire round. Favorite Emmy? Most frustrating Emmy?
Fuck you.
Michael.
I think which one, the purple one was the one that fucked with me the most.
Yeah, the wave beam.
Yeah, the one that could see you through walls.
Yep, that was your wave
Fuck
beam.
him. And my favorite one was the orange one because you didn't have to fucking fight him. It took me I'm embarrassed to admit how long it took me to actually understand the Omega Cannon concept. Which, for the record, I'm not a huge fan of that concept. I don't really like the idea. What's that?
I'm kind of with you.
Yeah,
I love playing with it.
A one-time use thing that you use, you get to this point, and okay, it's this part now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just, but again, like we've said before, that's a minor nitpick, and I understand. Plus, the cannon was powerful as shit. I kind of wish when you had the cannon and you're just running around, it would have been your normal cannon would have been more powerful to justify the extra shit you can do with it.
Yeah. Kathy.
Same. The purple one was the one I hated the most, and I think that was the Emmy I struggled with more than any, trying to figure out where to get into position to take them out once I got the Omega Cannon, and then also trying to get to it. Probably the easiest was the very first one, because that was the learning curve, and it gave you that chance. You didn't have to do you didn't have to heat up the mask or anything like that. You just got to fire off that blast and take them out. So, that one I liked because it was also a surprise. It was like, ooh, new concept. This is a new mechanic, and learning that new move, which is, and again, it was a new thing. So that always is exciting for me, is when you have something new in a game that you know how it's supposed to play. Like we talked about the morph ball coming later, new stuff you're not anticipating. So.
Yeah. And I'm going to take the next one just to mix it up. My favorite Emmy was honestly probably the yellow speed booster. That was my favorite, because more than any of them for me, that's the one that felt like it honestly and legitimately and fairly got my pulse up, because
the green one did that for me. Just because there were those areas where you had to run away from it underwater, and it wasn't impeded, but you were.
Yeah. But I'm just like, that thing zipping around and just kind of bolting and sliding through and like, whoop! That was a ball for me. And then my least favorite, the biggest fuck you, was the ice missile one, the blue one.
Yeah.
Fuck that bullshit. If it sees me, I'm frozen. Eat a dick.
That's yeah.
The wave beam didn't mess with me. That was bullshit.
You took mine, Larry. That's the least favorite one, because you literally be on a good streak of running away from him, and he hits you with the ring, and you freeze, and you gotta try to. Once again, it's that old school. I gotta wiggle this analog thing to get out of it, and sometimes when it's too late because he's quick and he gets you, then it's doing the quick time event, and I was just like, I despise you.
And
But
I never got that quick time event with the Emmys. I did it with everything else, just
Michael,
not the
did you?
Emmys.
A
I
couple
had-
times.
say,
Not nearly as often as I would like to have, but
I just
like
never
I
could
could
get
I
it
could
down.
block the first one, because
Okay.
there's the part where they try to grab you,
Yep.
and then there's the part where they actually stab you, and you can block the stab, but I never managed to do it.
I think I did it by accident. Like
Yeah.
I just button mashed and prayed that it would work, and that's about it.
I
mean, I
managed to get
used
both
it.
counters.
I used the counters in a lot of the bosses and a lot of the just basic enemies, but the Emmy I could never. Very rarely did I ever counter, and that was frustrating.
I got it by pure accident once, and I was super proud. And I had my wits about me enough to hit the screen grab to grab the 30-second video clip. But I think it was in the middle of the blue Emmy. It caught me. I managed to counter out of it, and I jumped up to grab a spider zip line, but I couldn't pull up fast enough. So the zip line smacked me into the Emmy and tripped the scene again. And I got the second counter right after. I managed to pull a back-to-back
nice.
and got the fuck out. I'm like, yeah!
Yeah, I think the blue one was my least favorite. But yeah, the last
Who's
one
your
is like
favorite?
is my favorite because you didn't have to fight him. But I
That
gotta
scene was so great.
I gotta say that I'm glad they put this in there. I'm glad that they are kind of the dread, they are the tense, but you feel a victory when you get away from them. You feel a victory when you counterattack with them. It gets your blood pumping even more, because it's just like, I gotta get away, and it does something different than what Fusion did. Fusion is a horror game. It's literally a survival horror game, but it keeps you on your toes. This one, it gives you the moves, and you just all you really need is the memorization of the layout of where you're going to be at. Because like when you defeat them, you go back into those spaces with like, I could just get through this without no ease. You don't be like, oh, that was the part that I had to fight that enemy, or that was the part. No, you just be like, oh, I got away with ease and stuff with it. And it kind of, in a sense, when you get that superpower to fight the enemy, it had that mother brain fight to it, desire to it, because it's just like you're fighting this thing, and then when it releases, you're fighting the brain thing, and I'm just like, that's cool. And no one has made that connection that you're literally fighting a version of mother brain.
Oh, that's been around. They've got the Rinkas and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody has been saying it on social media. No one has made that connection.
Oh, it's all there. Plus, on top of that, too, it fits canonically since they did say the Chozo were the ones that actually made Mother Brain. So and the pirates corrupted her.
I think people who are new to the series probably haven't made that connection yet. I just haven't seen it.
And that's okay. But so I got two pieces left I want to cover. We're gonna go to like favorite highlights. I want like the two peak moments from each of you, and then afterwards we're gonna go into what the fuck happened. Somebody explain that to me, because Eddie I know has got questions, and I'm betting there might be a couple others in the room. So, but top two highlight moments of the game, Kathy.
Definitely meeting, God, why can't I think of his name? The old one.
Quiet Robe.
Meeting Quiet Robe and getting that backstory halfway through. And, getting a sense of starting to unravel what's going on. And then for me, I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. I was so stupid. I don't know if I was stupid or if I just wasn't paying attention. But when Adam turned out to be actually Ravenbeak the whole time leading you, it duh, but it got me, and I wasn't expecting it. And it was like, okay, I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. And so then just that aha moment, like, so this is where it was all leading to up to that battle. So those two moments.
Eddie, top two.
Okay, so like I said, the Craig fight, and the Craig fight is definitely one of them. And then my second one is literally is the ending. It's literally that moment where Samus is still in the Metroid suit, still like it's a Metroid, and the way she's about to put her hand down and Quiet, what is it? Cry Rope. He said, "Don't." It stops her. And I literally thought that was so cinematic and everything.
Adam's the one that said stop.
Adam stopped her.
Yeah.
Quiet Robe gave up his ex-parasite to her, but it was Adam who said you can't do this. You're going to drain the power of the ship.
See, I thought it was Quiet Beak, because the thing about it is that when because it don't say Adam ... or Adam quotation or whatever that thing is.
No, but they use the voice.
They use Adam's voice.
It's his voice.
I thought it was Quiet Beak's voice.
No.
Quiet
Because and this might play a part into wait, what? Because when he said don't, Samus gets out the seat and pulls out her cannon. And Quiet Beak is there. So I'm thinking he says it because Quiet Beak was able to talk to Samus. Because
no, it was if you go back and listen, it's Adam's voice. The ship is stopping Samus because it knows that it'll drain the power and they won't be able to take off, and Adam will cease to exist. So yeah, it was Adam's voice.
Mhm.
Quiet Robe came up behind to offer the solution to allow Samus to escape. Quiet Robe did not speak at all during that whole time.
See, I literally thought it was that because I think it's because when Adam spoke, or when you heard Adam in that form, you would see his name saying something that he's speaking to Samus. But when the don't part comes out, Adam's name is not there. So that's why I thought Quiet Beak, or whatever his name is, said it. But it was still so cinematic.
It was.
I think and I wish I was able to take a picture. I'm sorry to add an extra one, but like just Samus walking out in all the X-Parasite of different colors.
Oh, that was
out. Oh,
that was a great scene.
I had to put it. I gotta tell everybody, if you do not have any Bluetooth headsets for your Nintendo Switch, I advise you to get some. Because
the sound design was so good.
Ooh, you have to play this game with headphones. You literally you have
listening to the lights flicker.
Oh,
yes. There was a lot of ambience sound that just you didn't pick up unless you had a headset. That's why I'm glad I played on my Switch dock down here and my PC through my capture card. I got to hear so much, but I mean, Larry even had to point out, listen, in Morph Ball, listen to the ball.
You can hear it whir up. It's awesome.
I was like, and when you're moving the word, I'm like, oh, they really thought of everything.
Yes. So, I told Larry, because we was talking, I was just like, I got these Sony headphones, like I paid $120, and everything is crystal clear, like noise cancellation, and I was immersed. I was just I love everything.
I tried using some Bluetooth stuff with it too, and the audio had significant latency issues.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I didn't have none of that.
Yeah, I didn't have any
issues. I could hear like a solid half-second delay.
Oh.
Interesting.
Which that kind of out of sync for me just messes with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those were my two favorites, and I'm sorry I had to add that little third because
three.
It was just
he had three.
I had to add three. I'm sorry. It was just so visually appealing, and it was just like it felt like a breathtaking moment, but yet what? So, Michael,
what you got, homie?
The part where that purple Emmy broke through the wall in a cutscene and like literally caught you off guard. I screamed the first time it happened, literally. And then right after that, it's shut down and Quiet Robe explains what's going on. I loved that whole scene. That was great. Her pure badassery when she meets Kraid. Like, she's literally standing just out of his reach, and she does not give a shit.
God, that was so fucking funny.
Yeah. But hands down, the best part of the entire game is when she fucking latched onto Ravenbeak's face. Like, oh my god, like, I had goosebumps. It was so good.
Well,
like,
that and then seeing the whole tower come down.
It was so good.
Oh.
Yeah, like, that's hands down my favorite part of the entire game.
For me, my top two was the mid-game lore dump, not just because it was cool, but because specifically of how it filled in gaps of the story, or rather, it told what happened off screen during other events. So, like, you know, the fact that Ravenbeak went back to SR-388 after the events of Metroid 2, only to find all of them had been wiped out, but then finding out, you know, later down the line after the events of Fusion that, you know, Samus is still running around now with Metroid DNA in her. I could use that. And strung those disparate events together beautifully. Like, the only other game series that I've played that takes prior games with minimal to no connection and hooks them together like that at the end, like it was intended that way from the jump, was the Journeyman Project series. Other than that, the other moment was the full Metroid suit reveal and seeing the mandible claws on the end of the arm cannon and feeling so vindicated, screaming, "Called it!" So, just getting to see the creators' envisioning of that concept that I've had in my head for so long, and actually getting that thing that I want was just priceless gold.
Before we go on, I have to admit, I played the whole game on my TV. I did not play it because I had to switch. I played the whole Switch on. I mean, I had the Switch OLED, and I didn't play the game on there. But I played everything on my high def TV, my 65-inch TV, and I was just enthralled. So just in case anybody was wondering, I don't know how you guys played.
TV. I want all that big screen goodness.
Yep.
Computer screen, because I was streaming it in my first playthrough. So, but yeah, it was I did not play handheld. It was
so. And on top of that, my second playthrough has not only been on my TV, but it's been on my TV in 3D.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's subtle, but it's nice. So, last section, and then we'll wrap this up because we are way longer than our normal episodes, but this kind of merits it. What the fuck happened? Who's got questions? Because I'm betting I got answers.
I do.
Hit me.
When Quiet Robe shows back up and sacrifices his own X-Parasite, okay? Why? I don't understand. Because I thought the X-Parasites take over the body. Like, so, because Quiet Robe was dead. He's a corpse. Why would the X-Parasite have any loyalty to the only living Metroid?
It doesn't. And here's the question that I've answered a couple times.
And this is the thing that one of the things me and Larry talked about today.
So, couple things. One, when the X infest a host or a corpse, they can pull the memory and information from that corpse or machine. That they established in Fusion. So, additionally, if you look at the end of Fusion, they do establish that there is enough survival instinct for the X to seek out and attempt to destroy its only known predator, the Metroids. And so between the X parasite and Quiet Robe, the Thoha, the Thoha genetics are designed, or the Metroids were designed so that the Thoha genetics could control the Metroids. That's the X parasite using the Thoha to wipe out the last of the Metroid DNA so that it's never an issue again. They've wiped out the last Metroid out of existence. So even if there's any other X flying around anywhere, they no longer have any Metroids to contend with.
Okay.
So there you
my
go.
question.
What you got?
My question is, and I think me and you talked about, Larry, was Ravenbeak and Samus, when Ravenbeak was calling her my daughter and everything. And it's a blueprint picture of showing like Samus having the gun and the heart. And I thought Samus was born from, like Samus had parents, but she was brought to Chozo and they injected the Chozo blood to her. So right. I wonder, not saying a split timeline or anything like that, I kind of wonder how's the actual beginning story of Metroid starts now? Is it with that, and somehow Ravenbeak was part of her growing up at some point?
I doubt it. I'm telling you, you're talking about Ravenbeak speaking figuratively. It's just a question of whether he's speaking figuratively as an individual or as a tribe. Because
I actually assumed that his DNA was part of what helped create her, making her able to use the abilities that she has.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, because I know they had to kind of reconfigure her DNA so she could use the Chozo technology. Mm-hmm. I was under I got the impression that they used Ravenbeak's DNA in it because he's their top warrior. Mm-hmm. So
I don't know. I'm for me, it's a coin flip as to whether it was Ravenbeak specifically or just somebody from the Mockin tribe.
Because I kind of now want to see a retrospective of, with this ending or with these segments included now, how does this first saga, I want to say, I can't even say a trilogy, I want to say it's a saga. How does this saga, put together what story is it telling? Like, how does it actually begin, and we already know how it ends, and stuff. And this is not including the Prime games. I think the Prime games literally is another chapter outside of the chronological Samus Metroid games.
Oh, Eddie, real quick. I'm looking at that scene of her in the hydro tube, the tank.
Yeah.
I don't think it's full grown, but it's not kid either. It looks like maybe adolescent or teenage Samus.
Okay.
And there's multiple Chozo in that scene, so yeah, it's got to be called back to when they did the infusion, but it's yeah.
Yeah, because I think because I was looking at the blueprint of it, and I might have missed. That's why I wish this had a movie thing to go back and look at those cutscenes or those.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I see the blueprint thing you're talking about, and it's so quick. I don't know. It's a lot to be inferred.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'd be willing to bet in years to come, Sakamoto will probably speak to specifics on the story and answer those questions. But I think for the time being, it does what it needs to do, and it leaves enough room that you can infer your own answers that fit just fine.
Yeah, and I feel personally for me that today I already know that the Metroid name is not going away. This is the series. This is the franchise. This is the main name. It's gonna probably be Metroid something, but this is the name of the franchise. It's going to be Metroid, and I think what's going to happen is well, I don't want to say I don't think. I think there still are going to be talks about Metroid, but we won't actually see something unless something changes later on in the story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could see them going with a different naming scheme, given that, you know, the species is gone. He's saying he's done with that story. So that wouldn't surprise me to see them do something different with the title, but keep it recognizable in some fashion.
Yeah,
so,
and I think, and that's why I just feel like the name Metroid. It's just like that's the name of the series or franchise. That's it.
Right.
And then just go about whatever the next story that he wants to tell. They want to tell.
Right. But yeah. Kathy, what about you? What are the what the fucks you still need answered?
Surprisingly, none. The game for me was very straightforward. And as somebody who, like I said, I did not play Fusion, I did not play Zero Mission, I did not. I know Metroid, Super Metroid, and then this, you know, and then the Prime games. So for me, the game was this is what I like about the game, is that anybody could come in and play it and be brand new and still not necessarily know the whole story and still have a good time with it. But there are some things I think that do need explanation. You did explain what, for me, because I didn't know about the X-Parasites too much about them, so I know, Larry, again, you helped me kind of understand why are they flying at me in all these different colors. I didn't realize they were helping.
Yep.
So, you know, like little game mechanics like that, but for me,
not quite voluntarily, but
for me, everything made sense. Like, I didn't have any questions. I did not question. I mean, I knew immediately when she took Ravenbeak and changed into that Metroid suit. I knew exactly what that was all about. I knew it was about her Metroid blood. When Ravenbeak got in with her, I knew the X-Parasite was destroying, because I knew that relationship between the X-Parasites and the Metroid. So nothing really kind of like, I didn't have any questions. I don't have any questions about it. I guess my question would be, where are we going to go from here? And that would be the only question.
Before we get to that, Larry, because we know that Ripley is not in this game. A lot of people.
Yeah, thank God. Ridley needs to not.
And you know, Fusion or maybe Prime 4 if they bring him back. But in the main games, Fusion is the last of them. Like, he's dead from that. I wonder, how did they catch Cred?
There's an answer to that, actually. If you manage to unlock it in the archives, is like some of the extra bonus things in here, the art gallery, they actually show Kraid being cloned by the Chozo.
Is that after Super Metroid?
Would have had to have been. But yeah, they show the Chozo creating a clone of Kraid, which would explain him being here, that they had the material to do it.
And I'm assuming they cloned him because of Ravenbeak's tribe.
I'm assuming that the clone here on ZDR was made specifically by the Makin, because they are the warriors that are, you know, out to push for domination. And so if they can put a big behemoth like Kraid in their army, they'll probably fucking do that.
Right, because of the two different tribes, like, that's why I was just when I'm like, wait a minute. It's just hit me. I'm like, wait a minute. How did he catch Cred? He was actually dead in Super Metroid, and he hasn't shown up in any other Metroid game after Super Metroid. Ridley,
Yeah.
Ridley's been shown up. Ridley has shown up. He's probably been the main enemy in the game as Sam's main nemesis for most of the series.
But Ridley was also cloned, I think, too, because he became more robotic in different games. So I mean, I could see that happening in the future, where he'll come back again. Space pirates are still out there, so
Yes.
So they probably are recloning him too, because everybody seems to be able to clone something. I mean, everybody has cloning technology in all. I mean, if you look across all the games, cloning is not unheard of. So
which is so weird that they have not cloned Mother Brain, their master. That's the most bunkerous thing.
Well, that was the Chozo that made it. So, and it's not the only one out there either. Obviously, no. They used them as major computing units. So that's why you saw all the central units all over.
Yeah.
Same tech.
I wonder which version of Ridley do we have in Smash Brothers? What if Raven Break was the last Smash Brother character, or he's gonna be in the next Smash game? I cannot wait to see that cutscene. Whoever directs the next Smash game, he's going to be in there. He has to be, because I would give it to Mercury Steam and to Nintendo. Raven Big is a warrior that does not play, and I'm like, I love
the level of badassery on display was fantastic.
Yes.
Like, just the epic of the wings coming out, and then when he pulls that, like, Lucifer-esque move, fuck this, yanks the one hanging wing off. I was just like, God damn.
Yeah, but he gave you too many opportunities to heal yourself.
Which is good, because he was taking up a whole bunch of
he was gnarly. God,
I realized it when I beat him the second time. I'm like, he really doesn't want to kill you. Like, he gives you too many opportunities to heal up during that battle.
It's the video games, Mercury Steam. Of course, they have to give it. I just love how intimidating he was. He's just like, come on, Trick. Come get some. And you just literally counter him and start blasting him with missiles. And just that cutscene of her dodging everything, you still hitting him with missiles. I'm like, what are y'all doing? This is hype. This is literally engaging, and I love it.
It was a very good boss battle. Well, all the boss battles I thought were very well done and enjoyable. Like, it wasn't just like they were fun. Again, challenging but fun.
They had that Mercury Steam incorporated a lot of Japanese martial art films and cuts and angles and stuff, and it was just like, yes, this is an exploration taking place in space, but this is the Team Ninja idea that they stole of her being being a warrior, like her almost being like a ninja, but fighting with what she got. Like, she was just even in the trailer when you fight the first boss, and she's walking and stuff, and then she just the enemy is going to her, and Samus blows him and flips through his tail and lands. I'm like, this is a cinematic shot. Y'all have been watching a movie for this to happen. Like, the payoffs at the end of the bosses were worth it.
Mm-hmm. No, the badassery on display was just choice. But yeah.
Someone put one winged angel on the cutscene of that. I was cracking up. I was just like, the internet is a fool, and I love it.
So, with all that said, any final thoughts before we close out for the night?
I would say this game is worth the $60. I'm glad that it's been selling well in Japan. I'm glad that people have got into the series. Just going to mention about the David Jaffe stuff. If you guys watch the video, you might be upset, but that is his opinion. I think you got to get the full value of this game. If you feel like you want to judge this off of money, you got to play the whole thing and experience it. Yes, we did spoil parts on here, but there's so much to this game that we haven't even touched on and talked about that you need to see it for yourself. And yes, it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be hard, but that's how video games are designed, to give you a challenge, to adapt to the patterns, to learn. Because once again, once you defeat a lot of these areas, you feel powerful. Things become easier, and you feel like you accomplished something. And last but not least, I love the checkpoints in here. I love that the fact that the game doesn't take long when you get a game over. You keep whatever you found and you go on from there. And it's so good that they did that. So it's definitely a must-have if you are a Switch owner. I don't agree with them putting it on to the computer and people are emulating this game. I don't agree with that. I'm surprised that they did it that quick, but I think this is a game to have on Nintendo Switch, and I think it's one of the reasons why, if you don't own one, that you need to buy one and experience this game.
Kathy, final thoughts?
It's definitely a game to get. It's definitely one to have in your collection. Do I agree with Eddie and say that this is Game of the Year? No, I don't think it's that high up. I think it's definitely a contender, but I don't think it. I think it's still too short of a game, and I think overall it is definitely worth the $60. I definitely think it's a game to have to your collection. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It had a lot of Hollow Knight vibes for me. In fact, there was one area where I'm like, those look like the little Luma flies. Like, is like Metroid and Hollow Knight same universe confirmed? And a lot of the backgrounds.
I speculated on that too.
But the backgrounds reminded me. It felt more like an independent Metroid game, and probably because it wasn't solely created by Nintendo. And I think that was what made it so enjoyable, is that somebody else put the time and the effort into it. And I think that shows a lot of times in a lot of the games that Nintendo works with other companies. We see better quality than just a Nintendo product. Not saying that Nintendo doesn't do that, but it's amazing how many great games have come out of other studios who've worked with Nintendo. So this is just another example of Nintendo really needs to keep with this trend, and I hope they don't. I hope they don't sleep on this series anymore, because I feel like Metroid has always gotten has been ignored, and to have to wait this long for this type of game, I'm hoping that it doesn't happen again, because there is so much more to this lore. They could go so many different directions with this series, and I think this shows it, that there is a lot of love for it. So I look forward to seeing where we go with continuing with Samus and her battles across space.
Yeah. And stay with Mercury's theme, Nintendo. They did a phenomenal job with Samus Returning with this game.
But they need to treat him better. And that's a story. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the kind of thing we get into on World 1-1.
Yeah.
So.
But yes, they did amazing. Mercury's team, amazing job.
Michael, closing thoughts?
I hope you're wrong, and this is not the last we see of the Metroid suit. Like, that power is interesting to me, and I would like to see them delve more into that.
I'm with you, but sadly, I don't think that's where it's going.
No, I hope. Like, I would like to see it make a reappearance somewhere. Like almost she has to deal with the concept that she's effectively a vampire now.
Yeah, I think that's sadly done and gone, but I can tell you there's some some forward-thinking thoughts that I think might help satiate and make you feel better about it. But we'll delve into those in future forthcoming episodes, since we now have a whole new jumping off point for what we do in the lab here. So,
which I'm sorry there before you go. Phazon is the blue stuff from Metroid Prime, right?
So for those that don't know, the entire reference to the title of this show, Phazon Labs, is taken in part, the Phazon part from the Metroid Prime games. The Labs reference actually comes from Metroid 2, because that final area is actually known as the Genetics Lab.
In Corruption, did she still have the Phazon?
No, Phazon's gone after the end of Corruption. All of it wiped out. But yeah, so there you go. That's where the name of the series came from. But so my closing thoughts is, I waited 19 years. Oh my God, it just felt so good. The entire last few months have been amazing to live through. Just reveling in the excitement, the anticipation, and the hype for something that we thought was honestly vaporware. It turns out it was just in development hell for 15 years. The execution of the closing of this particular connected saga between Samus and the Metroids, I think really did deliver for me. I've already got ideas myself on where the series can go, let alone the fact that Sakamoto's already said that he's already in the beginning stages of plans for future chapters, so he knows where it's going. So I'm comfortable and I feel safe with that, and I think especially it makes me so happy to see the mass reception for this game above and beyond all the rest of the series. The fact that this stands a chance of becoming the best-selling entry in the entire franchise makes me all kinds of giddy. It was so cool to see, thousands and thousands of people who have never given a shit about this thing that I've spent, pretty much all my life loving and adoring dearly, suddenly, getting excited about it with me. Fuck, Twitter was a great place to be for the last few months as a Metroid fan. And I hope that love and that passion stays alive. And I hope, and this part I'm sure is just, pissing in the wind, but I really do hope that Nintendo does something to make the rest of the series more readily and easily accessible for all the new people that are just coming in for the first time and are going to want to, check out the rest. It just, so much happy. So much to digest and contemplate and be excited about. And it, almost every day I come home and it's been on my brain all day at work. I want to go home and play some Dread for a while. That'd be great tonight. And fuck, that's such a weird thing to think that it actually exists. It's fucking real. That alone is still strange and bizarre to me. The fact that I can pick it up off my shelf and hold it in my fucking hands still feels surreal, and I kind of don't want that feeling to ever go away. So that's my closing thought. So with all that said, I want to say thank you to my friends and co-hosts for donning their lab coats and joining us here in the lab. Thank you to Kathy. Thank you to Eddie. Thank you to my homeboy, Michael. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. We've got a fresh episode of your regularly scheduled Phazon Labs coming up next week as well. It's already recorded and in the can, so we're already talking about what happens after Dread into the future, and more of that to come over the coming weeks, months, and years. Long live Metroid. Long live Samus. God bless every one of you that bought Dread. Thank you so much to everybody at Mercury Steam. And I put it out on Twitter, and I will put it out here too. If you are one of the individuals from Mercury Steam that worked on Dread and was not credited in the end game, reach out, please. I would love to take a moment to thank you personally for making this happen. You made me a very, very happy individual, and you absolutely have my gratitude, and I would love to be able to deliver it personally to you if given the opportunity. Thank you again to everybody that tunes in and listens to our goofy shit on a weekly basis. We have a ball doing this, and we hope you have as much fun listening. And hey, we are a fan podcast, and we are nothing without the Metroid fan community. And so we have an open door to come hang out. If you've got an idea or a pitch for the next Metroid game, now that we all know what happened in Dread, hit us up, slide into them DMs. They're wide open, and let us know, and we'll book an episode. With all that said, I leave you with two closing thoughts. One, buy Metroid Dread if you have not. If you have a friend that doesn't have it, buy them a copy. And two, as always, see you next mission. Peace!
Now leaving the Phazon lab.
I need like a lab door slide sound closing thing.
Yes!